Hello and welcome to another episode of What Now?
Jom Ah Lepak.
Okay, Haikal, hi.
Hai.
Okay, kita nak ada buat mini series hari ni.
Yep.
Tapi mini series ni special sikit.
It's a bit special,
Tu
yeah.
tak kasi ada apa tu, Haikal?
That's camera.
Kita first time ada kat sini kan?
Oh yeah.
Tak pernah ada ni. So it's pretty cool lah. Kita orang first time buat recording.
Tu lah. Like it's and like I don't know, it feels weird like now in the same room, you know.
Kita orang pernah lah buat recording in the same room.
Yeah, but I know this is like official, like in the same room, like very luxurious. You know what I'm saying?
Luxurious.
Yeah, luxurious.
Thanks to someone that found this place. Okay, so what is this mini series called?
So this mini series is called what's it called again? Do you remember?
You came up with the name.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay, now I remember. So the mini series is called A Trip Inside the Mind, an Insight to Mental Health in Malaysia. Yeah.
So mental health in Malaysia.
Yes.
Okay, so this mini series is in collaboration dengan
Nyawa.
Nyawa
Organization. Yes.
Okay, so I think we should introduce our guest so she can talk about Nyawa a bit.
Hi, I'm Naili. I'm a psychology graduate and I'm an advocacy associate in Nyawa. So just to talk a little bit about Nyawa, Nyawa is a mental health aid organization. Of course, we comprise of three arms, namely the media, advocacy, and research. So of course, we're here to empower public awareness on mental health. That's Nyawa. That's me.
Okay. Mini series semua kita buat collab dengan NGO.
Yeah. I mean, this is the first NGO we're collaborating on, right?
Betul?
Or yeah, this is the first. Yeah. So, so we're really grateful for having like this collaboration, and it's a big milestone for us. Really, we've gone so far from just online recording, and now we're up to the physical recording with the guests.
Betul. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for coming, and it's really
We're
big
so
honor.
grateful to have you. Okay, psychology graduate kita orang baru tak graduate lagi.
Itulah.
Aduh.
You're almost there.
Huh?
You're almost there.
Well, I'm almost there. He's not.
What?
Yeah.
It's a journey.
Yeah. So I guess you might be wondering like what is this this mini series all about? So we created this mini series in a sense where like I guess mental health is a big issue nowadays, right? So like, and I think there's still a lack of awareness in terms of understanding how the process of getting diagnosed, and then what it like understanding the symptoms of mental health, and knowing how to like have some self-care like on individual scale, right? So what we're here to bring you guys is to try to what's the word I'm looking for,
Share, talk.
yeah, we basically have a talk and like decompose the myth and misconception on mental health.
Faham. Okay, mental health problems. Okay, so daripada situ, I think we can straight pergi masuk dengan soalan yang kita akan tanya lah hari ni.
Yes, sure. So we have 3 questions for wait, I forgot your name.
Cuba kau kan depan mata kau ni.
I forgot.
Really?
Oh right, Neely. Okay, so we have 3 questions for Neely for today, right? So the first question is define mental health, and what are common mental health issues among Malaysians? That's the first question. The second question is so let's say I have mental health issues. So what do I do now, right? And the last question is, do you believe that the awareness of mental health is enough among the Malaysian community? Right.
So kita akan go one by one lah. So soalan pertama, mental health definition and mental health issues common amongst Malaysian. In your opinion lah.
Yeah, of course, it's my
Kita orang tak adalah nak cakap betul-betul straightforward daripada statistik or according to WHO ke apa. Tapi just in your opinion, your own experience, kita lepak aja kan. Go ahead, the floor is yours.
The first question, it's on definition of mental health and common mental health issues in Malaysia. Let's break down that question. I think there are 2 things to answer there. The definition of mental health here. So when we talk about mental health, it encompasses of our emotional, our social well-being, our psychological. So I'll break it down one by one. So emotional here is in relation to your emotions, to what you feel. So whether you feel happy, whether you feel sad, whether you feel angry or fearful, etc. And these feelings pass, right? Like when you feel happy, sometimes it pass. When you feel sad, sometimes it pass. But sometimes these feelings, these emotions, they develop into a more serious or concerning matter. Say if the emotion of sadness gets stronger, and it makes you cry, it makes you angry, you're sad, and then it makes you so angry, for example, then that affects your mental health. Now, to the second thing, the social well-being. So social well-being here is the meaningful and healthy relationships that you build with others, with your friends, with us right here, right now. So by surrounding yourself with a more positive social environment, then that itself can increase your self-esteem. That can, give you a positive outcome of your mental health as well. Now, the third thing I was saying on psychological, so psychological, well, that pertains your mental and emotional state, which relates to your mental actions. So a bit scary, right? Like, what's mental actions? Don't worry, everyone can understand this. So mental action here is, for example, when you dream, when you analyze the situation, when you recall a memory, when you plan things, basically when you're just thinking. Those are mental actions, and they link to your psychological state, basically. So all these surround mental health lah. So that's to answer your first question of the definition of mental health.
I see. Okay. Berkenaan dengan tu, okay, that's interesting. Because I've always thought of mental health more of like I would break it down into just its own words lah. Mental health, kesihatan mental lah. So maksudnya macam mentally sihat ke tak? That's what I would think about it.
Oh, that's a good, summary of it. Like, whether or not you're okay mentally, just like how you would see, like, oh, am I doing okay physically? Is my arm broken? But mental health is like that as well. Even though you can't exactly see it, but it's something that you still want to ask, like, oh, am I doing okay mentally?
I see. Faham. So, kita orang boleh continue lah dengan next tu. Faham? You understand? Aku faham tak?
Yeah. I mean,
Are you sure?
Yes, I think I'm sure.
Alright, what do you sure? You have to tell me. You sure not?
What you said lah.
Faham? That's quite a lot actually. Mental action and how you perceive things also is dependent on mental health also kan?
Yeah. See, you got something from what I said.
Of course.
Yeah.
I took it in.
The second part of the question on the
about
common mental health
among Malaysians.
problems among Malaysians. Now, mental health problems here can range from your everyday life worry. For example, you worry about what outfit to wear today, and range to something that is more long term. For example, you worry about what outfit to wear to the point that you only would want to wear a certain outfit combination, or else you cannot go out because you feel like if you wear a different outfit combination, it makes you so anxious that you cannot go out.
Okay.
So that's probably like a little bit more severe end of it lah, which may tie to other mental health problems as well. But of course, that's not necessarily a common case. Not to say that doesn't happen. It's not a common case. The common mental health problems among Malaysians are such as depression, anxiety, or stress. Are you familiar with those
we're very familiar with it.
terminologies?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there was a report by the National Health and Morbidity Survey 2019 that 500,000 Malaysians were found to be experiencing symptoms of depression. Actually, did you know that?
500,000.
Wow, that's a
500,000
lot.
in Malaysia. That's
Our
a
population
lot.
is currently
33 million, I think.
Betul.
I think so.
I think
somewhere
so.
there.
Okay, somewhere
Somewhere
there.
there.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's quite a lot. That's quite a big percentage then.
Yeah, that's quite a big percentage.
So those are the common problems lah. If you want to see, it's depression, anxiety,
And
stress.
stress.
Mhm.
Faham.
I wonder why that's like a huge amount. Like, is it like because of work? Is it because of the going to school? Like, I mean, still like there's gonna be a lot of factors contributing to it, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
One factor that I can summarize now is that causes depression or like anxiety is definitely stressful events, stressful life events. And when we're looking at stressful life events, there's so many things that fall under stressful life events. Take, for example, our most recent example is definitely the pandemic.
Yes.
Pandemic.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's something that we're familiar with, and the cost that it caused us, the whole pandemic, the whole change of life, the 180 change of lifestyle, that definitely affected all of us in different ways. Maybe there are loss of job, maybe there's change of relationships or like family dynamics as well. So all those contribute to stressful life events that may cause depression or anxiety or stress.
I see.
Mind if we go a bit more, like you said, the three main things lah, or you can call it. I think Haikal pernah experience this, but I think kita talk about it later lah. Which is a DAS lah. We call it depression, anxiety, stress kan. So in Malay we call it kemurungan, kegelisahan ke?
I don't know.
Dengan stress lah kan. Okay, but those three things, mind if we like give an introduction lah to the viewers, macam bagi diorang macam faham sikit lah. Depression ni macam mana sikit, anxiety ni macam mana sikit, stress ni macam mana sikit. Like say give some symptoms of it, sure. Boleh ke share sikit?
Can we just look at it? Okay, I'll break down depression and anxiety.
Okay.
They can actually be quite similar in terms of causes and symptoms. I briefly went through the causes earlier just now. One being stressful life events, and under stressful life events there's like many factors as well. Let's go into symptoms lah. Maybe we'll be able to see and understand depression and anxiety better from there. Depression and anxiety here, they have quite similar symptoms. One being low mood, low mood, low energy, and maybe you would lose interest in the things that you would usually find interesting. Maybe something that you usually find enjoyment in, you would lose interest in that. Maybe there's changes in your appetite as well. Disturbed sleep. So either for depression, maybe either sleeping too much or too little, whereas for anxiety, maybe you would have trouble falling asleep because there's like a more significant feeling that time, like for example feeling anxious. You're too focused on feeling anxious that it may be difficult for you to fall asleep. So that's on sleep patterns. Maybe there's poor concentration as well in general. Loss of energy, definitely. Lower self-esteem, and the more severe end of it is recurring thoughts of suicide lah. Yeah. But of course, not to say that if you have depression, you'll experience all these symptoms. Not everyone necessarily experience all the symptoms, and especially not simultaneously. And also not to say that if you have all these symptoms, you have depression. Not necessarily as well. But it's something that you can refer to lah, like these symptoms. If you're aware about these symptoms, it's something that you can sort of like draw a baseline, like okay, these are the symptoms, then monitor that symptoms.
Right. So kita orang dah kenal sikit tentang benda-benda simptom ni lah kan, which is what we the main reason why we had this first episode lah, just to get to know about it. Kita kena kenal sikit. Tapi like let's say I come, so the reason why is kita nak bring our listeners lah, let's say they come listening to the mental health episode because they are worried about their own mental health kan. So macam now they know a bit about the symptoms and they feel like rasa macam adalah simptom ni, rasa macam risau lah, macam tak okay kan mentally ni. So that's the question that we want to ask for you lah in the second highlight of the episode. Katakanlah okay, rasanya ada jugalah low mood, dah hilang ni, tiba-tiba tak nak kawan dengan Haikal lah. Katakanlah tiba tak nak kawan dengan Haikal, tak ada tidur, rasa macam tak nak hidup kan. Rasa tak hidup. So sekarang ni dah tahu dah. Okay, sekarang ni kalau ada simptom ni maksudnya kurang, maksudnya depression. What can I do? What am I supposed to do now? And macam, can you give us a short maybe process of what it's like to go through, maybe since you said kan, if you have these symptoms doesn't mean that you have depression. So in the end, a medical professional yang akan diagnose these things, psychiatrist ke or psychologist kan. So can you share with us a bit that one?
A little disclaimer. When you have all these symptoms, again, like I said earlier, you don't, like, not necessarily you have depression. So one thing to do is definitely monitor your symptoms. if I want to be more technical about it, usually you would want to monitor the symptoms and see if it persists and prolong for like more than 2 weeks. And there are different school of thoughts lah. There's a school of thought that says that if you have at least 5 of the symptoms that I mentioned earlier, then you're probably leaning towards having symptoms of depression and stuff like that. So again, first, definitely monitor your symptoms, whether or not the symptoms persist or prolong, whether there's a certain factor that triggers the symptom. So of course, when you see that there's a certain factor that triggers your symptom, you would want to avoid that trigger factor. If doing something triggers a certain emotion for you, why would you want to continue doing it? You would want to refrain it lah, basically. You would want to consume more of what helps with the symptoms. So depending on what you're experiencing as well, where you may find comfort, I would say. So what may help is perhaps walking out in the nature, talking to a friend, pet a dog, pet a cat, go to sleep, or like eat good food, whatever that may be. But ultimately, I would say do not be scared to seek for professional help. So yeah, what's the question? I'm lost.
Yeah, the question is macam mana prosesnya nak dapat that diagnosis, and getting treatment, and then maybe if you do get treatment, what is it like to go through the treatments that are involved? That's there.
Yeah.
So now
my point still stands. Definitely monitor your symptoms first.
Okay.
But ultimately, seek for professional mental health help. Mental health help.
Betul, that's the word. That's the word.
Help.
Yeah, seek for professional help lah, basically.
Yeah.
How technical do you want it to be? Like how to sign yourself up for?
Maybe like a journey lah, macam.
Yeah.
So like
Like a
introduction
journey.
lah, like a journey.
Okay.
Like what is it like? Okay, first you do this, second you
Okay.
do this, third you do this.
Okay, let me put myself in that shoe. So, of course, the first step is not gonna be easy to take. The first step to sign yourself up for therapy, it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be comfortable, but it's the necessary first step to take lah. So, if you're able to get to the point where you sign up for therapy, kudos to that. It's definitely not easy, but just go on from there. Yeah, you won't know how it can help you until you do it. So when you finally sign up, it's gonna be the start of a new journey, and it's not gonna be a lonely journey. Mental health shouldn't be a lonely journey. It's something that you should and you can journey with other people. So in the case of going to therapy, you would have your therapist to be in their journey with you. In terms of what you can start doing is maybe one of the things that you can do is definitely reach out to NGOs. So some NGOs, they do provide therapy sessions. They do explain to you more about mental health and what you can do and who you can see, what type of therapists you can see. Maybe there's counselor, maybe there's clinical psychologist, maybe there's psychiatrists. So these are like different therapists. They focus on different problems. They have different approaches as well. So again, how you would want to start with, maybe reach out to NGOs. You can start with seeing counselor. So counselor here generally, what they do is they prevent development of mental illness and maintain their well-being. So not necessarily like you see a counselor or you're diagnosed with this. It's not necessarily terus like that. So when you meet a counselor, it's more of like them trying to understand what you're going through, what life stresses that you are going through as well.
I see.
So they're there to help prevent in development of any further mental illness lah, basically.
I see.
So if you go through, for example, life stresses, like a lesser serious mental illness, for example, you're going through stress or you're going through job loss, so it's making you stressed, you will want to see a counselor. If you do experience a more severe problems, mental illness problems, such as we're looking at bipolar disorder or we're looking at schizo, then maybe you would want to see clinical psychologists, because clinical psychologists, they would be able to provide you clinical assessment. They would be able to mental diagnosis as well. So they would be able to help you and tell you, okay, what are the symptoms that you are experiencing, and what are the possible mental illness.
You mentioned clinical psychologists. How is that different from a psychiatrist?
Okay, psychiatrists here, clinical psychologists and psychiatrists, they're quite similar in terms of they're able to diagnose. But for psychiatrists, they are from the medical line, means they are able to prescribe to any medications. For counselors or clinical psychologists, they're not able to prescribe any medications.
I see.
Okay. Nak beza dia?
Yeah.
Sebenarnya as sebagai kawan Haikal lah kan,
Yeah.
I know what he's going through like recently kan. So macam sebenarnya kan tadi I mention the dust tu kan.
Yeah.
Nak dengar cerita
Yeah.
So what you've been going through?
Right. So I think you kind of noticed how inattentive I was in the beginning of the podcast, right? So lately I took the dust test. I think it was 3 days or 4 days ago. Okay, but first and foremost, I'm not depressed or anxious or anything. It's just that I wanted to check if I had ADHD. Yeah,
right.
I want to have ADHD. But so the first process of getting diagnosed so you have to go to for me was I went to Klinik Kesihatan.
Okay.
Klinik Kesihatan, and then we set an appointment, and then we go to the day and do the dust test. Yeah, I was expecting like more of a ADHD test, because I wasn't experiencing any anxiousness or depression. But when I got it, I was like, nak tahu apa I'm not depressed, I'm not anxious. But like those questions were really like, I guess you can say like, it helps like patients to like cater to what they're feeling lah. Like they ask you questions like, hidup ni bererti lagi ke, ataupun are you restless, are you stressed, all those things, right? So then once you've gotten dah jawab benda tu kan, you'll go to the doctor, and then the doctor will like ask you some questions like, are you okay, what are you facing, right? And then they will describe they'll write down everything, and then they'll give you a referral letter to meet a psychologist or psychiatrist. And in my case, it's a psychologist lah, because I think Haziq knows a lot about how I experience ADHD.
So a friend of ours is diagnosed, and like he talked to us about the symptoms, and like being a friend of his for how long, I was like, bro, you definitely have ADHD. Yeah, this guy.
No, it's just like,
Why are we laughing about it?
I know it's a struggle, but macam we go through it.
Yeah, we go through it like as friends like macam we've gone through a lot together, and like most of the things are just laughable to us.
What are the things that are laughable to you?
What laughable to us?
It's tak apa cerita.
I think it's just our capability of not being, for me lah, for me it's being inattentive. So like there are times when I'm just not focused, and then I just blurt out something randomly, or I just like back up something with what somebody said lah. For this case, it's like when you ask me, right, like what did you get from my explanation? And I was like, Haziq was explaining for me. Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah,
I see it.
But we were laughing basically macam, because macam ni, like as his friend, like I kind of like go through this. I go through the second-hand struggle. You know when you have a friend and they're struggling, right? You sort of experience it second-hand. You see it at the same time. They tell you about it, so you kind of, through empathy, you kind of experience it as well, again. So, like, why we laugh about it is because it's a shared struggle.
It's a shared struggle between both of us.
And I can say that I could kind of do have some Like, I haven't gotten an official diagnosis for ADHD. The first psychiatrist I went to didn't give an official diagnosis. She just said, okay, yeah, you do, and then give me a bad. So I was like, what? Second time I went, they said, I don't think you have depression. I don't think you have ADHD, you have depression. But then I was like, okay, so what do I have? So it's our experience. So it's a shared experience, and we can laugh about it lah. So it is a struggle, but to not, how to say this? It's not something that we want to make it to like, macam mana? Kita orang tak nak benda tu tabu lah. Faham?
Of course.
Tiba-tiba cakap, kau dia so this tak aku okay je gitu lah. To make it like we can talk about it. It's fine. Yeah. So that's why we laugh about it. Yeah. Faham ke? Does that answer your question why we laugh about it?
Yeah. And I think that's actually really, really warming. From what I gathered when you said earlier, first thing you said how your friend who was diagnosed shared his symptoms, and I think that's already a good first step of spreading awareness.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something that you keep because, oh, you know, what if other people say things about me being diagnosed to this. So yeah, kudos to your friend as well, like for sharing his symptoms. Second thing that I gathered, which made me so warm, is how you kept on saying it's our journey. You kept on saying how we share the struggle. And you say we, and it's so nice, and it's so assuring for both parties as well, because now you know that you're not alone in this journey. You have your friend. It's a we journey. So that's really nice.
I mean, honestly, like macam like apa ni apa kata, like knowing that you struggle, like, because I thought I had this struggle alone tau, until Haziq shared about his struggles, like it's so similar. It's like macam wow, sama juga kita. Yeah.
It was the first time we came here to test out the equipment kan. I was in the car, we were like really just
we were like
ranting about it non-stop. I was like, bro, it's susah kan? Yeah, no. That really thing lah. That's our situation lah. Macam with mental health punya situation lah, issues lah. That's something that we have.
But kalau for me lah kan, macam when it comes to mental health, I do have a background of like family members and friends yang ada mental health lah. Just namely like my grandparents ada schizophrenia, I think. Yeah. So macam for me, that was my first introduction to it lah. So it was really macam it was really hard to empathize at times, because like, you know, kenapa buat benda ni kan? I know schizophrenia, you hallucinate, and you hear voices inside your head kan. So macam you just feel a bit apa orang kata, macam frustrated.
Right.
But macam as you go through, I started to empathize tau, like macam, you know, how apa ni, that opened up to me like a lot of ideas and how important it is mental health was.
Okay. How were you introduced to
schizophrenia? I think through my grandparents lah. Yeah, so macam they were developing symptoms along the way, because I think they were getting older. But sadly I didn't spend much time with them. Because let's just say family issues lah.
Okay, no worries.
Family issues. But like it was really interesting lah, like knowing their journey as well, and like hearing what they have to say. Like yeah, like I can really empathize those who feel a certain like discomfort of in mentally. Yeah. What were you saying? Like, do you have any like experience? Like with anyone who has mental health or anything?
Yeah, I've had like 3 exes clinically diagnosed with depression. So
wow.
Yeah, so I have experience, I would say, like going to people that don't have that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But they are my exes, so just put it aside.
Did it affect you in any way?
Yes, very much. Like I think this is where okay. Tapi I think this is a bit on the third episode lah. We're going to talk about apa self-care kan. Just a bit lah. I think that now I realize how much important it is to set your limits when it comes to relationships.
Right.
Any kind of relationship, because now I realize it, because now I'm going through it. Because when I was going through having a romantic partner that had depression, like I was like really going through a lot as well, because like I'm romantically attached to this person. I want the best for this person, but I felt powerless lah. There was nothing I could do. This person is going through this, is going through that, and macam when you have depression, there's a lot of actions that you do that you cannot. Macam mana? They do it, but you can't really say that. Oh, okay, I know why they did it, because they did it. They have their own. They're going through their own thing lah. So, yes, it affected me a lot actually, but experience, belajar.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's one of the ways that you can learn about mental health as well. Maybe not through yourself, but through other people.
Betul?
Yeah.
I think let's slightly go through the third question.
Okay, jom kita masuk terus.
So let's go to the third question is so
dah tak tepi lah pasal macam mana nak buat semua tu kan.
yeah.
So now we talk about your opinion. Again, opinion, what do you think?
Do you think that the awareness of mental health in Malaysia is it enough among the Malaysian community?
Is it enough?
So your experience lah kan. Cakap
yeah,
ada
it's
kawan-kawan ke,
really experience,
family ke.
Yeah. Well, I think the stigma surrounds mental health is still prevalent in Malaysia, especially after the pandemic. It has definitely led to the increase in reported cases of depression and anxiety, for example. So to answer whether or not the awareness of mental health is enough among us, no. Or maybe not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. So maybe not yet. I would still like to acknowledge that we are slowly taking the initiative to learn more about mental health, especially after the pandemic. But that's the sad thing, right? Like, it had to take a whole pandemic for us to be aware that, oh, we have to prioritize our mental health. We have to take care of our mental health. It had to take a whole pandemic for us to like, okay, I got to do something about it. When mental health it's not a new thing. It's something that's, years and years already. It's part of our life.
If I'm not mistaken, recently pun I heard that even back in the Islamic ages when apa diorang pun ada juga study pasal benda ni. Like they found like medical records of them studying depression.
Right.
Like
Of course. I do believe that it's in the Quran as well.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, my point, whether it's enough or not, yeah, again, no, but maybe not yet. There are things we are slowly more open in doing now when it comes to mental health. Like, for example, there has been increase in efforts to raise awareness for mental health in Malaysia, maybe from organizations, NGOs, or even individuals. Take what we're doing right now. Like right now, we're seated here, we're talking about mental health. That's already one of the ways that we are spreading the awareness. We're already starting about it, open discussion. Yeah. So we just have to move forward from here.
So, on the way lah.
On the way.
lah. Tapi tak on the way Malaysia ni lambat sikit.
I feel like it's the fact that we're moving.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's better than not on the way at all.
I know, but this is ironic though, because I was about to wear an on the way shirt. Literally coming here, but I'm like, you know what? Just the cool ideas.
Okay, boleh lah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I know based on your experience, kind of like since she has to share your experience on like her ideas of
Awareness
kind of like, what about you, like in UM? How do you have any experience as well?
Dekat UM sana it's interesting because I've come across a few friends that actually I thought lah macam kita orang punya generation ni jenis yang macam tahu banyak pasal mental health, tahu banyak lah macam quite aware of mental health problems. But then macam when I met a few people when I talk to them around our age juga yang macam tak tahu apa. So I was like, okay, maksudnya betul lah tu. Not yet, on the way. So there are gonna be people that don't know anything about it. Like, oh, depression. Then they just feel sad and don't know what to say kan. But then macam there are others like, oh depression. Oh I know, depression this that. Oh yeah. So kind of interesting that are still those that have the mindset, oh kalau ada masalah mental gila. Tapi tak, it's not like that, you know. It's also this different categories. It's a lot more, and I think that it's great that we are doing this.
Yes,
Of course.
definitely.
There are others, Nyawa punya initiative to aid the mental health punya ni. Kita support lah.
Yeah,
Kita support semua satu. Yes.
Support local kan.
Support local.
But yeah, like I mean, even for my experience as well in UiTM in Pematang Pawing Penang in like the northern side of Malaysia, right? So Ya betul juga lah. Macam I've also come across friends yang macam they're not well educated, not well aware of these symptoms or some like they're just they thought it's something biasa-biasa je,
Right.
kan? Some it's a normal daily life, and I think I'm just experienced like everybody else. But sometimes you just don't realize that you are apa kata macam you are really like apa ni into that symptom, kan?
Kau rasa kenapa dia orang tak tahu? Do you think it's the family ke sebabkan
I think it comes with family. Like even like my like when I wanted to like go to a doctor and check for my mental health, my parents were like, "Dia biasa kot. Hilang ni biasa lah kot. Nanti akan apa ni akan just build some new habits and all that stuff kan." But it came to a point for me I was a bit frustrated lah. And those things keep repeating, and this is definitely shown in this semester. I mean, sorry, not this, but last semester. So, but I'm grateful that they were open to like even went the first step to go to klinik kesihatan and check me out.
Right. I also think that it's a social responsibility. So maybe you don't necessarily get the awareness from your family, but it's also a social responsibility in a sense that if you know that your friends are not aware about mental health problems, if you do have the knowledge, then it's your social responsibility of sharing the knowledge. Just like what you're doing now, you're sharing it through the platform of a podcast. So yeah.
Well, we really hope that this podcast can just like spread like wildfire lah. Like, I mean, to a sense where like people are aware about these issues, kan.
we really hope we can achieve that goal of awareness lah.
Yeah, betul. So macam huh? Oh, already 30 minutes?
Oh, it's way past 30 minutes.
Oh wow. It's okay, man. But anyways, well, that is a wrap for the first episode of our fourth mini series of this podcast. Thank you. Oh my god,
I'm not going to kill you, man.
You would have to cut this, man.
I really have a big problem.
Are we blaming your ADHD for this? What are we doing?
Alien, right?
Nailing!
For coming on the podcast. It was really valuable, like hearing your experiences and also sharing your knowledge about mental health, and we're really grateful that it was very, very solid and very useful for those who are listening.
Of course.
Yes. So, do you have any final words?
Continue to educate each other.
Keep it up. Sabar je. You nak saya promo ke? So if you are interested, don't forget. Ada tak? Okay, so if you like us, so far dengar okay kan?
Yeah.
Itu best tak?
Yeah.
Ke tak best?
I don't know.
Kalau kau punya dah sikit cakap lah best.
Okay, like coming from the founded, so yeah, it is a fun episode lah.
Okay,
I mean,
so-
even though it was a bit inattentive at times. Yeah.
Okay. So you can follow us at
Jom Ah Lepak on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Yeah, that's a lot actually.
Okay.
That is a lot.
You want to promote yourself?
Yes, you can follow Nyawa on Instagram, Twitter at Nyawa, that's NYAW_ORG. Of course, that's where you'll get updates on our projects, and if there's like any volunteering opportunities, you'll see that as well.
Right. So, and also thanks for Steakhouse for like sponsoring. Is this sponsoring? Sponsor, okay, for sponsoring this place. It is, and yeah, we're really grateful for everything lah. Tune in to the next episode, in episode 2, where we talk about mental health policies with Janelle.